Welcome back to Kimmy Baby 21 Motivational. I'm Kimmy, and today we're diving into a topic that's been making waves: how a misunderstood version of Stoicism can create bad attitudes in people. Stoicism is meant to build resilience and wisdom, but what happens when people twist it into something harmful? Let's break it down. Segment 1, what Stoicism really is. Host. First, let's set the record straight. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches emotional control, wisdom, and virtue. Think of Marcus Aurelius Seneca and Epictetus. They focused on self-discipline, accepting what we can't change, and being good human beings. But here's the problem. Some people take a twisted version of Stoicism and turn it into a shield for arrogance, emotional coldness, and even toxicity. Segment 2, the rise of bad Stoicism. Host. So how can Stoicism go wrong? Let's break it down into a few key misconceptions that lead to a bad attitude. 1. Emotional suppression. Many people misinterpret Stoicism as a way to completely suppress emotions. They think they must never show sadness, anger, or frustration. This is not true Stoicism. True Stoics recognize and accept emotions, but don't let them drive their actions. But a bad Stoic might look at someone crying and say, "Stop being weak." Stoics don't cry. Example. Imagine a friend who's grieving the loss of a loved one. A good Stoic would acknowledge their pain and encourage them to focus on what they can control, like honoring the memory of the person and processing their emotions in healthy ways. But a bad Stoic might say, "Death is part of life. Get over it. There's no reason to cry. Just move on." This dismisses the importance of mourning and can lead to emotional suppression. Solution: Stoicism teaches us to deal with emotions, not to ignore them. If you feel sad or upset, acknowledge that, but don't let it control you. Instead of pushing emotions down, try to understand them and work through them with rationality and strength. 2. Lack of empathy. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, but some people take this to mean they should stop caring about others' struggles. They might say, "Well, I can't control how others feel, so why should I care?" That's where Stoicism goes from a healthy philosophy to a toxic attitude. Example. A colleague is struggling with a heavy workload, and you as a Stoic might think, "I've been through worse. I'm just going to get things done and not complain." But instead of offering support, you become distant and judgmental. A bad Stoic might say, "Just work harder. It's your problem." Solution. True Stoicism involves empathy. It's about recognizing that while you can't control someone else's feelings, you can offer your support, encouragement, or practical help. Understanding that everyone is facing their own battles and extending kindness doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. 3. Arrogance and superiority. One of the biggest issues with a misapplied Stoic mindset is that some people start to think they're better than others. They use Stoicism to inflate their ego, saying things like, "I'm above these petty emotions. I have control, unlike you." Example, let's say you're in a group of friends, and one person is upset about a recent breakup. A bad Stoic might say, "You're overreacting. I've had worse. Just move on." This kind of response makes the person feel belittled and dismissed, while the bad Stoic feels proud for being so rational. Solution: True Stoicism encourages humility. It teaches us that we are all flawed humans learning to navigate life. Just because someone is emotionally struggling doesn't make them any less valuable. It's important to practice humility, even as you apply Stoic principles to your life. Segment 3, real-life stories and the impact of bad Stoicism. Host, let me share a couple of real-life stories to help illustrate the negative effects of bad Stoicism. Story 1, Sarah and her breakup. Sarah recently went through a difficult breakup and, naturally, was very emotional. She reached out to her friend Max, who's a self-proclaimed Stoic. Instead of offering comfort, Max simply said, "Why are you so upset? This is part of life. Stoics don't dwell on things like this." Sarah felt dismissed, like her emotions weren't valid. This reaction made Sarah even more isolated in her pain. Story 2, John at work. John was feeling overwhelmed at work. He reached out to his colleague, Daniel, and shared how stressed he was. Daniel, who considers himself a Stoic, said, "I've been through worse. Don't complain. Just focus on what's in your control and keep working." Daniel's response made John feel like his emotions didn't matter and that he was being judged. Instead of feeling supported, John became more withdrawn and anxious about his workload. Segment 4, how to avoid bad Stoicism and apply it properly. So how do we use Stoicism in a way that's healthy and helpful instead of harmful? Here are some practical solutions for applying Stoicism the right way. 1. Acknowledge your emotions. Don't ignore your feelings, understand them. If you're sad, angry, or frustrated, take a moment to reflect on why. Feelings don't control you unless you let them. Recognize them, process them, and move forward with clarity. 2. Be empathetic and supportive. Remember, Stoicism isn't about shutting people out. It's about understanding their struggles and offering support. Be kind and compassionate, even if you don't always fully understand what someone is going through. 3. Stay humble. Being a Stoic doesn't mean you're superior to others. It means you're focused on self-improvement, while acknowledging that everyone has their own battles. Practice humility by being patient with yourself and others. 4. Use Stoic wisdom to help, not harm. If someone is going through something tough, offer them wisdom, but do it with care. For example, instead of saying, "Stop complaining," try saying, "I know this is hard. What's something you can control to make it a bit easier?" Closing thoughts? Stoicism is an incredibly powerful tool for personal growth, but when misapplied, it can do more harm than good. It's all about balance. A healthy Stoic mindset empowers you to deal with life's challenges with grace and empathy, not emotional detachment or arrogance. If you've ever been on the receiving end of bad Stoicism, know that it's not a reflection of you. It's just a misunderstanding of the philosophy. Let's apply Stoicism the right way, by using it to build strength, kindness, and wisdom in ourselves and others. Thanks for tuning in to Kimmy Baby 21 Motivational today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more motivational content. Let's keep growing together, one step at a time. Until next time, stay strong and stay kind.